Imagine a world where you can't hear anything around you. Everything is going dark and silent. You cannot hear your friends chattering, nor your teachers teaching. You cannot hear the birds chirping, nor the clock ticking. Personally, I would be afraid to be in this situation. Firstly, because I can't hear anything around me, and secondly, I'd become a burden to everyone else around me. There are some people who have gone through these difficulties and have achieved big things in their life. This is one such story. Hello everyone, welcome to Succeed e-learning app. Today we are going to go through the life story of Satish Gujral. Satish Gujral is one of the foremost artists of India. He's only a few artists of India who has achieved in various forms of art like painting, sculpture and architecture. Satish Gujral is also a writer. Exhibitions of his work have been displayed in various museums around the world, like the Museum of Modern Arts in New York, the Hiroshima Collection in Washington, and also the National Gallery of Modern Arts in New Delhi. He was awarded the Order of Crown for the best architectural design of the 20th century of the Belgian Embassy. He has also been awarded the Padma Vibhushan. His life story is ample proof to all of us that physical disability is not a barrier in order to succeed in your life. Now friends, I'd like to tell you all a few stories from the life of Satish Gujral. The first among them being how he got this illness. The previous year, Satish and his family had been on a trip to Kashmir. He, along with his brother Inder and father, had been hiking. They were crossing a rickety old bridge over some rapids. The boys stood there and looked down at the swirling water. Satish noticed a point where all the water was rushing in. He pointed that out to his brother Inder. Just then, he slipped and he fell into the rapids. His screams were lost in the rushing sounds of the river. When he regained back his consciousness, he found out that his leg was in a plaster and his body was hurting badly. He was bruised all over and his head was aching. Although over the months his legs healed, they still remained weak, so they required a lot of operations on them. Due to this, he suffered frequent whereabouts of fever and especially infections in his ear. Over a few days after the last operation, this following incident occurred. A small tear trickled down Satish's cheek as his friend Surendra left. Poor Satish, a child of 8, it felt as if a huge weight was put on his head and everything seemed far away and silent. The silence was the worst part. He wanted to scream at the top of his voice, but he did not. He remained quiet. He was confined to his bed. The worst part of all this was that the doctors did not know what the problem was. They did diagnose that it was due to the medicine that was given to treat his leg. All this for him seemed to be a scenes from a pantomime show. We will have to look for a new school. No, I don't want to go to a school where I cannot talk to other children and where everyone would make fun of my deafness. Beta, you have to go to school and learn. What will you do in life if you don't get education? Okay, father, I will attend school. This is a school for normal boys. Why don't you take your son to the school for the deaf and dumb children? My son is not dumb, sir. His hearing is a little bad. He is under treatment and soon will be fine. Many other schools answered the same way and they were not ready to accept him because of his deafness. Soon enough, Avtar Narain was completely shattered and by this time Satish had also become very moody. He stopped talking to people around him because he couldn't hear a word that they said. At the same time, he stopped going out to play because he couldn't bear the bullying of the children of the neighborhood. His brother Inder spent a lot of time with him, talking him through various pronunciations. His father also bought him various books, Books such as The Life of Garibaldi, translated by Lala Lajpat Rai, the works of Munshi Premchand and Sarat Chandra. All these books opened up a new world for Satish, and he soon became a voracious reader. He came to realization a world of suffering, and his life felt very good in comparison. One day, when he was looking gloomily into the far corner of the garden, he saw a bird that was unlike any he had ever seen before. It had a longish tail and a black crest. But the most important thing about the bird was its restless energy. Its eyes kept darting here and there, its whole body ready to fly at any moment. For a long time he stared at the beautiful bird. When it flew away, after a glance in his direction, Satish jumped from his bed, took out his notebook and pencil. He started sketching the bird from memory with a few deft strokes. He liked the picture and set it against the stack of books on his bedside table. He had discovered another pastime which he could indulge in. Sitting on his bed, he began filling pages and pages with doodles. His strokes varied from moods angry, soothing, and humorous. He had always been good at Urdu calligraphy, and so sketching came naturally to him. However, his father was not amused. He took all of his notebooks away that he had drawn on. This is an idle pastime. You would do better to read and get some knowledge. Oh, that! I don't want him to start thinking that he can make a living out of drawing. Artists make a pittance and live in poverty. It is no career for a bright boy. He has to study if he has to make something out of his life. Besides, his hearing may return any time. When it does, he must be prepared to go back school, mustn't he? Why decide that he is going to remain deaf all his life? We must always be optimistic about his chances of recovering. Several visits to the hospital later, nothing was improving for Satish. He was still in his silent world, and the only comfort that he found for himself was his paintings. He was still able to paint even after all his father's oppositions. One of these days, when Satish was mixing his colors in his room, his father came in and stand at the door. He looked at him staringly, and if Satish had the power of hearing, he could have felt the tremor in his father's voice. You want to do this very badly, don't you? Pitaji, they are for you, Satish. I will find out the best school of arts for you. You will learn arts and make your life in your chosen fields. This has been the story of Satish Gujral. I hope you all enjoyed his story and found some inspiration. Thank you all for watching, and for more lessons, tune into the Succeed e-Learning app.